All right, everyone, welcome to this week's Wind Down segment. If you're new to the Wind Down, this is a segment that we do exclusively in video format. It's a conversation that we probably started having on the show, and we can't get into all of it on the show. So we continue it later on the Wind Down with one of our former guests gracing us with their presence. And this week, I'm very excited because we have the great founder, creator of Rated R&B, blog, social media, the movement. Keithan Samuel's in the building.
Thank you so much for inviting me back. It's a pleasure.
Yes, yes. How are you? How you been doing? Atlanta's been open, so
Been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while, I think, but pretty good. Just, constantly working and doing all that for the
You are
sake of
busy.
R&B. Yes.
Yes, but for the sake of R&B, I mean, today's topic, honestly, guys, we're gonna be talking Beyonce and is she or is she not overrated, etc. This is stemmed from the record that she has just broken right now with her Grammy wins. She stands at 28 Grammys. She's the most decorated Grammy female of all time currently. The only person above her is Quincy Jones, I believe. It was a big thing. And Rated R&B recently covered the Grammys red carpet, right? So how was that? Like, did you get a sense that this might be a history making night?
No, I mean, I don't think anyone except for the Academy, the people, who plan the event or they actually know who wins, so it was just a surprise. But I thought it was great. I mean, Beyonce's been doing this thing since she was a child. So to see her still here decades later getting her flowers is an amazing thing to see.
Now, some people think she gets a lot of flowers, right? So we're not gonna kid ourselves. Sometimes Beyonce gets a lot of hate for different reasons. Now, would you say that most of her awards have been warranted, in your opinion?
I mean, I think specifically with the Grammys, it's not really my say of what's warranted because her peers are the ones who are nominating and voting for her. It's not a public award show. I mean, it broadcasts in public, but the Academy members are the voting members are the ones who determine that. So I think if they think that, then, as a music fan, as a music lover, you can only respect it.
Clarence?
Well, Beyonce, man, I feel at this point, I don't think she's overrated because she's part of music loyalty. Whenever she's dropping, she don't even have to announce it, and it's just shifting the culture. It
Yeah.
impacts the culture to every time to a certain degree. To a certain extent, I can understand why there was a certain how can I say that?
Like pushback about her winning.
The fact that she won some Grammy, she was pretty much, I don't want to say non-existent, but she didn't drop a lot except for like
She
Black.
wasn't as active.
Yeah, she wasn't as active.
Yes.
So I can understand that, but at the end, no matter what she's doing, it's having an impact. And I think that's one of the criteria. I don't know the criteria, but I think that's what the Grammys are looking at when it comes to Beyonce.
Well, when it comes to, I mean, you weren't a big fan of Black Parade, and you're still not, and I understand that. I went in and out of fandom for it. I now enjoy the song and I understand it more. But I'm Hive, so sometimes people don't like my opinion because I'm part of the Beehive. But I'd like to think that I am sane. I'm not one of the members that will tear you apart. Maybe in my younger days, but now I have calmed down significantly. But a conversation that is always brought to me as a Beyonce fan is, you know, she ain't that great. Why is she always winning? Why does she have to? And I'm just like, as a fan, as a person who is a fan of music, and Clarence, I'm kind of a music nerd.
Mm.
Um, People tend to respect my opinion about everything except for Beyonce, and I'm just like, do you think I'm a fan of hers for play? Like the same like way I can dissect a Tony Braxton album with you. like I still like it's the same reasons I'm a fan of Beyonce because of her artistry and her talent and her drive. And some people tend to discredit that as what they kind of don't understand the hype per se. Why do you think that is exactly, Keithan specifically?
I mean, I can't really speak for anyone. I mean, people, they, again, she has the fans, she announces the tour, it sells out, the interest is there. She's a legend, she's an icon. And I'm not sure. And even with that, not everyone's going to like you, and not everyone's going to like the person who is the most popular or someone who's at the top. But, it's that comes with life. Not everyone is going to agree, but that doesn't take away from that artist, their talent and what they've contributed to music.
So talent wise, you would say she's talented.
Yes, I think she is extremely talented.
Vocally, because I respect
vocally
your
and
music
even on the stage, like she's just so incredibly talented, and you can tell that she puts a lot of effort and energy into making sure that she delivers a high quality show for her fans. And that's something that you can only respect.
I've had conversations with people who don't believe she's a vocalist, which I disagree with.
I mean, again, people will say anything. And some people just say things because they personally don't like that person. And again, that doesn't take away from that artist.
But you don't know the person though. How you don't like somebody and you don't know
them? Again, I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird to me. But Beyonce, again, she has paid her dues. She's been in this industry for quite some time, and she deserves all the flowers that she gets. I mean, I think we need to celebrate our legends while they're here and not just wait until they pass and then we want to talk about all the great things. So I'm always going to be here for any R&B artist or anyone in our community to get their flowers while they're here, while they can still smell it.
And I think, to be honest, what's going on right now, it's pretty much like normal. Like everybody that is on top is catching flags or hate. And the thing with Beyonce, I might not like some of her stuff. Like I'm not the biggest, I'm not a hype or whatever, but you can't deny it. Like the music that she's dropping, it's quality.
Exactly.
It's quality. There's nothing that you can say about quality. You can talk
and
about,
it shifts culture. I mean, when she dropped her self-titled album, the digital drop, everyone was talking about it. She literally
said,
yes. So I mean, at the end of the day, Beyonce doesn't just release music. Everything that she does is an event. People are going to talk about it. Even if they don't like her, they're still going to be checking for her so they can have something to say.
Big facts, because a lot of people was telling me about Black is King, and I was like, "How you know? I thought you didn't like her."
Right.
I'm just, but
the first ones, the people who claim they dislike them are usually the first ones to go and listen or watch.
That's my and one of the things I realized, because I've had some time to think about this, because I don't spend a lot of time like defending my faves as I used to. I have a few faves, and people like to, to get at those, specifically Brandy and Beyonce. I spent a lot of time in my youth, I'm still young, but whatever, but like defending or whatever. But now I'm just like, bro, like I don't actually have the time. And exactly. I feel like some of the people, like the people I stand, it's like they're so easy to defend. It's just there. It's like the quality is there. So I don't have to do much. But when I think about it, I'm like, for Beyonce specifically, I think a lot of people don't actually have a reason to dislike her. The reason is, number one, I would say some of her fans. And number two, she's been on top for too long. People don't like that. Like when you've been successful for too long, people tend to think that there's supposed to be a moment where you fail. There's supposed to be a moment where you kind of like decline. And they're kind of over that. They're waiting for the drop where people don't pay attention, right. or like it doesn't go number one, or she doesn't break the Grammy record. And it's like,
that's what you call a hater. People will just, pray for your downfall. Those are haters. And, I don't really, like you, I don't really go back and forth with people on social media, especially people I don't know about, artists that I like.
Yeah.
I like what I like, and I'm pretty sure they like what they like, and I may not like what they listen to, but I'm not going to sit there and go back and forth with them. I could be actually listening to the music that I enjoy. So
Right.
Mm.
I, at the
And
end of the day, I think, and I'll let you go, Clarence. At the end of the day, I think that you have to give it, you have to be accurate too if you're given an award or an accolade or a praise as well. Because I always compare it to like when I was in elementary school. At one point, like back to back, I won like this like little award called Student of the Year or whatever, and I was winning it back to back. And like one of the parents was like having a discussion with my father, kind of like, well, like she's always winning it, like they're kind of biased or whatever. My dad was just like, I mean, they're just giving it to whoever is the best student, and if they're
right,
not, they can't just give it to somebody else because you think she's won too many. And this is not even like, Clarence is laughing, but it's not even to like, I was like 9, but like
right.
they're not just
But
gonna
if
say,
you're the
okay,
best, you're the best. And
that's what I'm
other
saying.
people need to step it up. If they're tired of seeing you at the top, or if they're tired of seeing you get awards, then maybe they should do something, and contribute something, and maybe they'll be rewarded as well.
and
Yeah.
I feel like with artists, like one of the criteria that at one point you can say whatever you want, but that the artist is there to last is like if you make a music that stand the test of time, like from
Mhm.
Beyonce from Destiny's Child to like her single career, she got, I can name you at least like 10 songs with my hands that like 20 years probably from now we're still gonna listen to it. So there's nothing that you can say about Beyonce at this point, to be honest. Like
Well, people still say things. It still aggravates me. I'm not gonna lie, like I don't get like mad sometimes because I'm just like,
Right.
bro, like, are you serious? But also a lot of people, you have to also respect people's musical taste, right? And
Mhm.
what she what like as a deep fan, what I know of her is not what the general public knows of her. You know what I mean? They know the presenting face that she has, the singles that she has put out, which is normal. And if we're talking huge like mainstream Adele success, like Beyonce's solo singles that have done that happened years ago. And this is as a fan, like there hasn't been like solo something that I believe I would say since Drunk in Love. If I can't think of one by herself, you know what I mean? Obviously, Savage was a moment and stuff like that. So people see like what is presented. They don't see for like, the intricate like live performances where she's following she's riffing with the guitar and she's like the things that
Mhm.
I as a freaking nerd like study and stuff. They're just like, well, I mean, she's not that great. I'm like, oh, is
I
she?
mean, you can't measure an artist's greatness based on, where they chart. I mean, at the end of the day, like I keep saying, Beyonce has been doing this for quite some time. She's still here. People are still talking about her. She's still getting awards. She's still, when the world was, normal, she was still selling out
mm,
shows and, her tours. So yes, I mean, she's a legend, and I'm going to keep saying that. And I think
Well,
that she deserves everything that she gets. And it's not like she just walked in and she's being showered with flowers. She worked her way to this point. She wasn't always this Beyonce as we know her,
that's true. Does she have
So
more to do? Like what like in terms of, let's say, album of the year, like how come she hasn't gone that? Like is there more that she needs to do?
no.
um I think that at this point it's her personal decision whether she feels like she has more to do. I feel like she's contributed a lot to the industry, so I don't think she needs to really be, and I don't think she's like that type of artist now who's concerned with, chart placements and all that. Like I
Mm,
feel like she's
clearly not.
comfortable with who she is as an artist. She knows that she's going to sell out a tour, and she doesn't have to concern. I mean, it's not like she's not going around doing a bunch of interviews and all that. She drops music, people gravitate towards it, people talk about it, and it is what it is. I don't think she has any, at this point she has nothing to prove. She's
And I
already
don't think she
proven.
cares if they don't gravitate to it either, which, as a stan fighting with people who value numbers, you're like, excuse me, like Beyonce promote. Just Ivy Parsons is all over your promote something, sis. But as a regular person, I'm like, yeah, if she doesn't care, then why should I care? You know what I mean? I'm just gonna listen to music anyways. So
Right. And
yeah.
it's not to say that she doesn't care. It's just like she just prioritizes, where she places her energy, again. And she's not just a musical artist, she's also a businesswoman.
Mhm.
She has Ivy Park, and, that is a moment every time she does her little drip or her drop, people rushing to go get it. So, I mean, again, she's still young, she's still young, and there's still a lot more in her. And I look forward to when the world reopens, so that way she can announce a tour. Hopefully she goes on tour, but I know that
Yo,
she at one
I'm
point.
hoping for that.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting on Formation World Tour DVD. Yeah. So well, so I want to end on this. I'll ask we can go around and say it. Beyonce in a versus. Who y'all want to see her against?
Damn.
Clarence.
It needs to be someone big, to be honest.
You
Like
had said someone before.
against Beyonce, who I said, I don't remember.
Well, you don't remember?
I don't
You said
remember.
you said Mariah.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, actually, yeah, Mariah. I would go with Mariah or even a Janet Jackson, maybe. That would be the two that I have in mind.
That's a little far though.
It's I mean, that's a hard question to answer because it can go in different ways. Like, Beyonce has the hits, but she also has like the deep cuts. I personally want a verses where, the
Those have deep
artists
cuts.
give us the deep cuts because we already know the hits. So, I mean, and then again, like Clarence said, she's a huge artist, so she would have to go. I don't know if she would even participate in it
If
at
Swiss
this
can do
point.
that, man, I will bow down.
But
I think she will.
yeah,
I think it's one of those that
it
will
just has to be set up correctly.
He'll sooner
And I
get
mean,
Jada than he'll get B.
versus to me isn't really a competition. It's more of a celebration of,
Right.
two artists, producers, songwriters, what have you. So as long as we keep that in mind, I think you could do a versus with anyone. I mean, at the end of the day, versus is a celebration of music.
Mm,
Well,
And
I'd
it's not
love
necessarily a
to.
competition. No one's going and
It used to be though.
checking. Well, no one's, but what are they kind of comparing? Because no one, I
That's
mean,
true.
it's all about bringing
It's
20 hits, but no one's
perspectives though.
checking. Yeah, but no one's checking the charts every time someone plays a record. They'll be like, oh, this one charted number one, this one charted number three.
Right. But I mean, you see, that's what I was getting mad at with Brandy and Monica. I was like, y'all, Monica ain't win nothing because like if y'all were like if we're really looking at numbers, but anyways. Um Shout out to both ladies, love them though.
Love them both.
For me, I would love to see a versus with Beyonce and Usher. Like I,
yeah, sure.
I
That would
feel
be
like
different
I,
because then it's not like you're just putting two women together or two men. You kind of like mix it up a little. So yeah,
right.
again, Usher's a huge star and a legend, and
And I think they're both from the same their era. Like
Mm,
they both came up around the same time. Usher has had huge success. People might want to discredit him a little bit, but they'd be surprised, I think, at how well he could hold his own. So
Usher is a
Usher
legend,
got
and
hits.
no one should be discrediting him.
Mm,
a lot of people who are not legends discredit people on a daily day-to-day
Yeah,
basis. It's very
I
strange to
mean, at the end of the day, whether you're another artist or just a fan, until you sell 10 million copies of something,
me.
then, then I think you should just limit what you have to say about others and their success, because selling 10 million of anything is not an easy feat. So,
Absolutely not. Well, we want to thank you, Keithan, so much for stopping by on the wind down. And you guys, well, actually, first I'll let people know where they can follow you. Actually,
well, you can follow Rated R&B on Instagram at Rated R&B, Twitter Rated R&B, and you can check out ratedrnb.com. You can follow me as well at I am Keithan. That's Keithan.
beautiful. And you guys know that we do this weekly. You can you can listen to full episodes, breakdown to lowdown. Link is in the description, of course. We might have some more video content coming for y'all soon, so make sure you stay tuned. Once again, thank you so much, Keithan. Have a great night.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed this conversation.